Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chandra and I make videos about reading, writing, and all things books. Today's video is editing a printed copy of Project Air. A few months ago, while I was actually still in school, I got feedback from my alpha reader, and I had been kind of reading it over, but not really because school. And so now that I'm out of school, I started looking over it again and reviewing some of the comments, and I was like, geez, this really pointed out a lot of problems that I'm going to need to work on before I can even get through all of the suggested edits. Some of the things are pretty easy to go in and touch up, but some of them really need a deeper look. So I picked 4 things that needed a deeper look based off of the comments I've gotten so far, and I decided to start on an edit. And this is actually a printed copy. A lot of times I'll edit on my computer, which is what I had been doing when I realized this is too much. I need to do a bit more. So here is what I am reading for. The first thing is a character. I have a specific character who doesn't exactly fall off of my radar, but they're not on it to the degree that they should be, especially for their impact on the story. So I'm reading specifically for their story arc. The second thing I'm reading for is the timeline and continuity. It's not always clear. Hi, buddy. It's not always clear when in the story things are taking place. So I am reading for continuity and marking out more clearly the timeline. The other 2 points that I'm reading for are specific plot points that move the story along, and they require some foreshadowing, so I want to make sure that that is in all the right places, but also that they aren't in conflict with each other. So those are the main things that I decided to do in this edit. So before I decided to do this edit, I was reading on my computer, and that wasn't really working for this kind of edit because I couldn't see physically on the page where each of these issues was taking place. So I'm gonna cover up what I'm reading for, but I'm using these colors for each section, for each of the subjects, each of the 4 subjects, and I'm highlighting with that specific color the entire section so that when I'm done with the highlights, I can go back through and specifically read everything that addresses the 4 items that I'm reading for. And I can do it sequentially and make sure it's all cohesive and makes sense. So to do that, I have a page setup that I really like for editing, but I've also made some changes, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my page setup with you. So what I do is I write in Google Docs, but when I print to Word document, and that's just because I go to Office Depot. Yeah, I had to look at the box. I go to Office Depot and have them print everything off. So they print from Word, but you basically email them the document as a Word attachment and start from there. So when I do that, I add a column for notes from the Word document. So when you print it off, it gives you your regular document and then a panel down the side where you can actually write, no, Dobby, out of the box. I know that's a lot to ask for, but you can't. So yeah, I put all the notes in. I just write a note at the top, and it leaves the whole panel, and it goes through the entire document. So I leave the page, not the page. I use the font size. I leave the font. Hey, no biting. If you're gonna be over here, you have to be nice. I leave the font size the same because I'm just highlighting, and I'm not actually really writing anything in margins. If I need to write something, I can do that on the note column, and I'll just I'll just write an arrow, and then whatever notes I have that go to that specific arrow so that I don't lose my place. Most of the time though, if I have comments, it'll be about the highlighted section. If I need to write notes, most of the time it'll be about the highlighted section, but otherwise it can be really easy to lose notes and be like, what was I talking about when I was reading through? So I try to make sure I indicate that very clearly. The second thing is that I always have them print it single-sided, because when you're highlighting that much, the page can get a little bit soggy, and I don't want them to use like really, really nice fancy paper because one, it's expensive, and two, this is literally my second round of edits, so it's fine. The third thing, and this is a new thing that I've found, but I really super like it. When I go, I always get them to put the printed document in a box instead of in the paper bag that they have. And they were out of the regular 8.5 by 11, so they said they only had the, I think they called it ledger, but it's also called tabloid sometimes, but it's the 11 by 17 page, and they had the box for that. And I think this actually works better because you can fit, of course, two 8.5 by 11 in there side by side, which is really nice because then you can have one side of what you've already read and marked up and the other side of what you have to read, and just kind of flip them over as you go, so you never have to worry about losing your place. I feel like this is pretty groundbreaking for me in the way that I edit. So that's what I did this time. And everything, my notebook and everything that I needed fits right here in this. You can see it's pretty big, but it fits in that box. And so I can pack it up for the night and not have to worry about losing my place, not have to worry about where I put the specific markers that I'm using. It's clean and convenient, and I just close it when I'm done for the day. The second thing, so for the continuity read, I realized there was a lot of problems with my timeline. As always, y'all know, and I talk about this on live streams, I feel like I'm always getting advice. I've been really working on timelines. Let's see, 2020, I did all of my drafting, and it was like, how much drafting can I do just to build a habit and get stronger as just a general writer, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. I wanted to get a lot of words on the page, and I did that. So 2021, I started working more on my outlines. And Dobby, you gotta stop. You cannot face butt my technology. Ugh. He like almost knocked my computer over. Okay, so 2021, I worked largely on outlines, and I felt like that helped a lot. So 2022 is turning into timeline season, because I feel like that's the next big thing that's gonna have a big impact on my writing and my ability to draft quickly and cleanly. Granted, Project Air, it has been the cleanest thing I've drafted ever, but it's also the only thing I've really drafted, I think, maybe the second thing I've drafted with just one POV. For some reason, I like to hurt my feelings, so I like to draft with like 10,000 points of view, and why? Anyway, not the point, but that's why continuity and timelines are a big thing for me right now, and that's what I'm working on. The color key and the subject match has been really helpful. I did this the last 2 times I was editing, and I've really liked it, but one thing I did do this time was to lower the number of things that I'm reading for, and that's been helpful. Dobby, on the other hand, is not being helpful. He is being adorable, but not helpful. Boop. Distractions are me. So yeah, reducing the number of things that I'm reading for at a time has been helpful just as far as speed. This manuscript, I think, is like 164 pages, and the font's pretty small, so that's part of why. But it's about, with added words now, it's about 57,000 words. So it definitely needs some more. But I'm not super worried about that because I do have a lot of notes and a lot of areas that I need to flesh out and give more detail or clarify things, more foreshadowing. And like I said, there's one of the things that I'm reading for is a specific character, so I know I'm going to have to write a lot more. Maybe not a lot more, but I'm going to have to write a good bit more for that character. I also am an underwriter, so filling in those subjects is expected. But as I go through this read through, this is my 4th thing. I have a notebook where I have additional things that I'd like to review. So as I'm reading through, there's been other things that I'm like, oh, I need to read that for continuity, or I need to go back and check on this specific thing. So my plan is each time I have something to go and read through, I'll probably group them in like 3s or 4s, probably no more than 5, because last time I think I did a lot and it was too much. But that way I'm just kind of buzzing through and looking at specific sections and not getting overwhelmed. I think that was maybe the problem, but editing is hard, so I'm just gonna keep tweaking my editing process, and as I do so, the things that are the hardest for me about editing are the next things that I'm gonna work on. So like the last 2 times I was editing, the biggest things that came up were timeline related, so now I'm working on timeline. Yeah, that's all I have. I'm super distracted and I'll be breaking things. Yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching my video, and I will see you next time. Bye.